Van Deeb, a dynamic leader with decades of experience building companies and crushing sales. He's been there and done that.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello. My name is Van Deeb.
Inspiring audiences across the country to do it too. Here's Van.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Van Deeb podcast. Man, I'm so grateful you take your time to listen to me and watch me for a little bit. I'm here for one reason, just to help you accomplish your goals, maybe make it easier on you, give you the inside track on how you want to get to where you want to go a little quicker, using my experiences, my winnings, my failures, and all that will help you in your journey, in your career. As you know, I've been in real estate for, this is my 44th year. And the cool thing is I get up every morning and I can't wait to go do real estate. So I feel very blessed that I still have that drive and desire and determination to want to still really be good at real estate. And, it's all about, the way we feel, the choices we make. And, I always say that we're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Of course, I didn't create that quote. That was Jim Rohn. That was Zig Ziglar and some of my favorite leaders. And speaking of leaders, that's what I want to talk to you about today is we learn from people that are doing things the right way. I often will watch a video of a leader or a motivational speech, and man, I tell you something, I'll pick something up that will benefit my career. And then I'll make decisions like, do I want to keep following this person? And so my message today is make sure the leaders that you're following are giving the right message, because here's the deal. When you follow a leader, you're going to repeat them. You're going to repeat what they have to say. Why? Because you liked it so much. Like, for instance, growing up, one of the first books I've ever read was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Today, that is still the number 2 all-time bestseller. And there's one line in there that I've repeated, and I probably would not be exaggerating if I said I repeated it 1,000 times. If you can conceive it and believe it, you can achieve it. And I really believe in that. Well, that was a quote from Napoleon Hill. I'm also a big fan of John Maxwell. Just recently, he was on the big screen at our church, and listening to him preach, I love to emulate him. It's very rare you're going to have people that are going to argue when you're repeating what people like John Maxwell say, what people like Napoleon Hill say. I know there's controversial preachers out there, and there's one that I really admire. His name is Joel Osteen. I admire his preaching so much. I went down to Houston, Texas to sit in on one of his church services, and then I got to meet him afterwards and have a 5-minute visit with him, about a 3 to 5 minute visit with him. And it gave me the opportunity to say to Joel, hey, I really enjoy what you say. It's changed my life. And really, Joel Osteen's preaching has changed my life. So I'm using that as an example. I listen to Joel Osteen probably 3 to 5 times a week because I relate to him. What he has to say are ideas and specific items that will make me better in my life, specific areas that will help me improve. Like, for instance, Joel Osteen preaches about, only surround yourself with people that are in your camp. If you've got negative people around you and they're not for you, there's no place for them. And, you almost look to leaders to give yourself permission. But I constantly am hearing people say, so-and-so quotes this, so-and-so quotes this. And, like I quote Maya Angelou, one of the greatest poets and thought leaders of all time. And one of her famous ones of many is, people don't care how much you say, people don't care how much you know, they care mostly on how you make them feel. And it's so true. I've embedded that in my soul when I first heard that decades ago, because it's important to me that everybody I'm around, that there's something in me that makes them feel better about themselves. And it's really important to me that when I'm doing my motivational speeches or when I'm coaching people, they need to know how important that they are and that they're not on an island, that they're not alone. And a lot of these leaders that I listen to make me feel that way. Now, there's the other side of the coin. Coin. Dylan, you don't have to edit that. People know I like corn. I'm from Nebraska. Of course, we like corn. Of course, you know we're broadcasting live from Hurrdat Media in Omaha, Nebraska. First of all, before I forget, subscribe, please, right now. Subscribe to this so you get these in your inbox. I want you getting motivated, my 15 to 20 minutes of motivation in your inbox. And I'm also going to ask you to share this episode with somebody today that could maybe use a boost or just a little motivation or a different way of thinking. So I'm always quoting leaders. I love listening to leaders, and there's so many. I mean, I can't even mention them all. Les Brown, people that I really enjoy listening to because I relate to them. But there's also leaders out there that you've got to be very careful not to reproduce what they say unless you're 100% sure of what they say is accurate. Now, we live in a society, and I'm just being straight up with you. I'm being honest, and you may not feel the same way I do, which is fine. You don't have to. This is not a political statement, but we live in a society that lying has become fashionable, and people have embraced lying. And like I said, this is not political for Republican or Democrat, but most people with half a brain know that the President of the United States says things that are not true, probably more often than he says stuff that's true. And these are facts, ladies and gentlemen. This is not what I'm saying. I saw an interview that he gave on 60 Minutes way before he ran for president. He was just getting ready to. And I'm just telling you this because you want to emulate and you want to repeat what leaders are saying if they're honest and if they're people that you want to be like, people that you say, you know, this leader's doing great things. I'd love to lead like this person. But I saw an interview with the president in 60 Minutes, and the lady asked him, he goes, why do you always say fake news? And if you noticed, half the world uses the words fake news. Well, where do you think they got that from? They got it from this man. He said in the interview before he ran for president, I am going to discredit every news agency out there, and I'm going to call it fake news because there's so many things about me that they're going to come up with that I want to already get in everybody's mind that it's fake. So all you people out there that are going around saying, oh, that's fake news, I'm not calling you an idiot. I'll let you call yourself that because you are. You're emulating and you're repeating somebody that is known for lying. So basically what you're doing is you're saying, I know a great liar, and I'm going to repeat everything this liar says. And guess who's going to learn from me? My kids, my significant others, my peer groups. So I'm just giving you one example. I'm not picking on the president. I'm just giving you examples that do not repeat what liars are saying because it makes you look really, really bad. I want to give you an example. I've got a couple that live up the street from me, wonderful people. Everything that Trump has ever said, they repeat like it's the law. And 99.9% of it has already been debunked as false, baseless, and not true. But they still repeat it. So how do you think I feel about them? I used to look up to them like, man, this couple, I love getting in conversations with them because they're so intelligent. I learned from them. But then when they started quoting all these things that are known factual lies, their credibility went right down the tubes with me. So I don't really take anything they have to say seriously. And we live in a society right now that is repeating things that aren't true. Because when you have somebody at the very top telling all the people baseless lies about pretty much everything, and you absorb that and you believe in that, you're going to be just as bad as this person is. So my message is, when you're out repeating what other leaders are saying, I don't care if they're leading the country or they're leading your company, fact check it. What do you have to lose by saying, you know what? This guy just made this statement, or this woman. I'm going to fact check it before I repeat this, because if not, what makes you any better if you're repeating the same lie that that person is? And like I said, that goes with everything. And it really concerns me because, like I said when I opened this up, lying has become fashionable. You know, if we know the truth. For instance, we know there was an insurrection on January 6th. Do you know all the people I know that I used to consider intelligent people that still don't admit that that was an insurrection? And I say, tell that to the people that lost family members because of it. Tell them that that was false. And then you see people saying, I saw on Facebook a guy who leads a very, very big company, and he's saying he thinks the World Trade Center was a big lie, that planes never did hit the World Trade Center. So, and I used to really watch his stuff. And so what did I do? Because I have the ability to, I unfriended him. I don't want to take that garbage in. I don't want to ever take. Now, this is a guy that I used to listen to. I can never repeat or absorb anything he says again because he's preaching lies. So pick leaders. There's still, don't be discouraged. There's still great, honest leaders out there. Those are the ones that you want to repeat, like the ones I said earlier today. Zig Ziglar. There's nothing you can repeat that Zig Ziglar, one of the greatest motivators of all time, that would be considered a lie. None of these people that are out there trying to help people get better, they're not lying. So when you follow leaders, make sure that you're following leaders that are telling the truth. Can you believe that we've come to a point in society that almost half the country believe in lies and they don't do anything about it? I watch these interviews. And, you know, I'm going to go back to political again. I know that's not popular, but that's too bad because that's where we're at today. So I'm going to say it. They interviewed a guy that was at a Trump rally, and they said, hey, we're just curious, what makes you want to follow Donald Trump? And he said, well, he exposed a big lie. And I go, and the reporter goes, well, what was that lie? Well, if it wasn't for Donald Trump, people would have never known that Obama is not a U.S. citizen. And I'm like laughing when I'm watching this interview. Is that guy an idiot? If there's a word for stupider than an idiot, that would be that guy. He repeated a lie, never fact-checked it. He just heard some guy say Obama wasn't born in the United States, and he rallied behind it. Guess who else rallied behind it? Over half the country repeated that lie. Are they all idiots? No, I don't think so. I just don't think that they know any better. It's wrong to repeat lies. People get hurt. I want to say one other thing for those of you that think it's okay to repeat lies. The same person I'm talking about is known for making the comment, if you repeat a lie 1,000 times, people will start believing it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the President of the United States of America that actually said if you repeat a lie 1,000 times, people will start believing it. You think that's what we've been hearing the last 8 years? Or somewhere around there? Yeah. And guess what? Half of the United States believes it. So it works. I call President Trump a genius. You know why I call him a genius? Because he's completely turned very intelligent people into idiots. And I know that's very strong and harsh, but we live in a society, and I want to tell you, this show is about getting ahead in business. You're not going to get ahead in business being known as repeating a lie. And I really believe that the truth will always come out. The truth will set you free. And one day there's going to be all these people out there that were big supporters of liars that are going to feel like idiots. And they're going to feel like, oh my gosh, I've been out there repeating what this guy's been saying over and over and over again. What does that make me look like? So this isn't just about politics. It's any leader that you follow. If you feel that their information that they're not pouring out to you is not accurate, check it out. And if it's not, don't follow them anymore. I am so comfortable quoting people like I said, Maya Angelou, Napoleon Hill, Zig Ziglar, Joel Osteen. All these great leaders in our country, Ronald Reagan, John F. Kennedy. I don't believe in Republican and Democrat. I believe in humans. I vote person, not party. I vote the best character. And we should do that in our daily lives. Let's support people that are, one, telling the truth, because guess what they do when they tell you the truth? They're not insulting your intelligence. If somebody is not telling you the truth, it's because they know that you're an idiot. I don't know any other way to put it, but when somebody convinces you that their lie is accurate, they're questioning your intelligence. So don't be like a lot of people out there that are spreading the wrong words. Fact check these people. I promise you, you may never quote them again. And there's so many great leaders out there. So that was my message today. I just am hearing it so much on the streets today that people are repeating well-known lies. And it's so unfair because people get hurt when they lie. And so I do want to make sure you know, if you want to follow great leaders, I talk about them in all my books. Every book that I write, I always quote leaders that I really believe in. And I'd love it if you checked them out, vandeeb.com. You can learn about me. There's a blog on there. You can watch this podcast and or all my podcasts from the past. And the other thing I want to make sure to say is, anybody that's in real estate, or if you know anybody in the sales service industry, I have got a masterclass that's changing people's lives. I've been told it's increasing their sales 5x, and that's realestatemasterclass.online. It's 33 modules. It's $99. That's it. Never again another fee. And you're going to have 33 modules that you own and you can revert back to anytime to learn how to be better at what you do. Even though it's real estate related, it's for sales and service people. So make sure to check that out, realestatemasterclass.online. And check out these books, and please subscribe to this video podcast and then share it with somebody. I'm asking you today to share it with one person, maybe somebody that feels the way I do about leaders, maybe somebody that doesn't feel the way I do and you want to share it with them. Feel free to do that too. I'm not ashamed of my opinions. I like facts. But I also love to have this wonderful audience of you guys watching this podcast. Hopefully, you watch these and you pick one thing, you go, oh my gosh, that's going to help me get better at my career. That's what this video podcast is all about. So thank you today for watching the Van Deeb podcast.